What was this in the chat today that came up where they were talking about if it comes up in your dream that it's possible that it may have happened as far as alien abductions? What is this about? I've never heard this one.
So this kind of goes to that your memories process real life events. So if you have a dream about aliens, you might be processing real life events. I'll parallel this to a documentary I recently saw called Australian Skies. Australian Skies is about a guy who has photographed and witnessed well over 300 UFOs up and above his house and wherever he goes. So this film crew goes down there and interviews this guy. This guy has dreams about UFOs. He has a feeling when UFOs are around him. Sometimes he's in a group of people. He'll see a UFO and take a picture of it, and other people in the same group will not see the same UFO that he just captured on film, and so he gets called out for it. And he just seems like a regular guy who doesn't want to be bothered with this. But where do dreams come up with it? That's a dreams and UFOs. It seems to be carried out throughout the myth and lore of UFOs. If you dream about UFOs, you might be open to it or be opening yourself up to the UFOs, and you might be do some hypnotic regression, figure out if that's an actual dream or if it's your mind processing what happened in reality. Because with every UFO missing time, like you hear about people, they were abducted for 5 days, they came back, and during that 5 days they were gone. They have no memory because the aliens wiped out their memory. But according to some theories, you can't be completely wiped out of your memory, so your brain will put those memories into your dreams, and that's where it gets processed. Hence, if you dream about UFOs, maybe there's something more going on. But in the case of this guy in the documentary on Netflix called Australian Skies, this guy is very interesting. And this documentary, it started off about UFOs, and then it goes into various other aspects of the UFO phenomenon, like Men in Black. It goes into whether or not these are just natural. These UFOs are just natural aerial phenomenon, like plasma balls that have been around Earth for a very long time. We just don't have a scientific way to explain them, or if they're not technological advanced extraterrestrials, but perhaps a type of energy being that we just don't acknowledge. Like, how there's deep sea creatures we really haven't found, or they're like some weird, bizarre creature. Well, these might be some high altitude energy creatures that might live up there. For whatever reason, they're attracted to this dude, and this guy takes a lot of photographs of them.
Interesting.
And so this documentary travels around Australia with this guy. They managed to go out hiking somewhere, and they do capture some balls of light on video and film. They do comparisons with like what a drone looks like at a distance. They take up like drone copters and like kind of like, does this look like a UFO, or just look like, can people be fooled by this? They do those comparisons, and they find like another person in Australia who has a very similar experience. He feels as he has these feelings where he should go outside, and he's able to capture the UFOs in the sky. They could disappear, and then sure enough, almost like half the time, like a helicopter will come by, and sometimes there's reports of these helicopters flying over these people's houses. And then there's these Men in Black aspect that these people get. These UFO experiencers are approached by people who claim to be in the government. Don't talk about this. Don't give talks at the UFO conference. Just shut up about this shit, and everything will be fine. There appears to be an element of harassment, and meanwhile, the main subject of this documentary, Australian Skies, appears to just not want to deal with it too much. Either he's a really good actor and he's making all this shit up, or he's just a guy who's reluctantly going along with it and is experiencing this stuff and happens to buy better and better equipment to capture this stuff and is just trying to tell people what he's experiencing. And it's bizarre. I don't know which way I go with it, but it does go into a little bit of Bigfoot sightings. It goes into a little bit of Australian Yahweh kind of weird stuff. And I don't know. I liked it because it was from Australia, a continent we really don't hear much from when it comes. A lot of the news we talk about is U.S. centric. So when it came to like an Australian UFO documentary, I was all on board. Different perspective, different kind of people. So
absolutely,
it was captivating. It could have been done a little better, but I think the information is there. I don't think it's going to sway anyone either way because there's no hardcore footage.
I'm not going to be swayed until I got a probe up my ass and there's an alien on the other end of it.
I know. And that's the thing. We're seeing balls of light. That's all we're seeing here. We're not seeing advanced technology.
Bleep bloop. Come on. I've got my legs spread. I'm waiting for you. Be my intergalactic fire burner.
Do it.
They're not Mr. Hands.
That's one of the things that we don't have in a lot of these UFO cases is we don't have definitive proof like that. I have yet to see a clear-cut photo. We've said this over and over again. And
smoking dong.
We have emails, we have stories, we have reports, and that is about it. Sometimes testimony is enough. Sometimes eyewitness testimony is enough to kill somebody. But it's not enough to convince somebody that there are aliens visiting Earth. It's bizarre.
JFK thing is you got a lot of eyewitnesses, but nobody's there. How do you prove any of that shit? It's just crazy.
You get 5 people together and you blame one guy. Say, yeah, that guy, he raped and killed kids. That is enough, probably, if you have a body to convict somebody and have them sent to the gas chamber. But you get 5 people together and say, we saw what appears to be aerial phenomenon and we are abducted and we have 5 hours we don't remember. People think you're crazy. Even though it's in a group of people, and that has happened. People don't believe that. It's so far out there.
Good prank for the show is to just get a bunch of listeners together and we all accuse the same person of rape and just see what happens.
I love it.
Just, see where it goes.
That's Fonzie with the honk. If you're in danger, honk. God. I'm being abducted by aliens.
Honk.
They'll stop. They'll stop.
Hillary just got voted in. I need help. I'm in danger. No, it's this.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
I think I did I have a whole. I went into that. I have a whole nother UFO segment, but we don't have to do that right now.
No, you got to do it now. You might have. This is all over the map now. It's just it's everywhere.
It's just,
what is the UFO thing?
All right, I'll go into some more UFO stuff right now. Here we go.
No, these are clean. I change my clothes every day.
What did you say, Joe?
That was your lead-in. That was your gateway. I did my Hillary P. That was my only thing. That was my only article. Is that the Podesta group thing? It's just bonkers. That this guy, that's Hillary's top advisor. He has an email from her from somebody else who's working. It's like the only reason why I think she's going to win is because you're with her. Because sometimes her judgment's pretty bad. That was another one of the leaks. Talking to John Podesta, and that was. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that tickles my interest right now. And John Podesta's a big UFO guy.
John Podesta is a huge UFO guy, and it's one of the reasons why I hope that he's in power. He is so about UFO disclosure. He is on board. He's like me, and I wish I could meet him. And maybe he's using Hillary for his own means. Maybe he's using Hillary and being her campaign manager and said, look, I'll use her like everyone else is so I can get UFO disclosure out there. I can't verify any of the headlines that I'm reading, but this is only what I find. And this headline is leaked document recommends false flag alien invasion to save Clinton's campaign.
This is coming from
exopolitics.org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not Angel Fire.
No, not
Yeah,
it's not
or
GeoCities.
GeoCities.
Not GeoCities. This is .org. This is big league.
It's on .org.
A document released by the Benson Strategy Group on behalf of the Clinton Foundation reveals that Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign is in dire straits due to mistrust over mainstream media coverage and polling. The document analyzes a number of salvage scenarios and recommends one called Fire Sign, which a false flag extraterrestrial invasion using advanced holographic technology will be implemented to save her campaign. I have the link here. It goes over some other proposed scenarios to save her campaign. One is Red Dawn support is, and it goes in. It has some notes and what it is. So the operational scenarios like Red Dawn, Cobalt Rain, BL riots, Zeke apocalypse, all that kind of stuff.
I just think that like misinformation is always carried in a basket of close to truths.
I have to agree with that. Is that with these WikiLeaks on one side or another, they're really playing off one side or another here with these WikiLeaks, and which we don't even know if it's compromised at this point. Probably is. No one's seen hide nor hair of Julian Assange. What, in 5-6 days?
10 days, I think.
So we have to take everything with a grain of salt. And be aware.
Snowden stuff came out. They were all talking about, well, so we even talked about on the show, like Snowden confirms the existence of whatever, a base on Mars or something we talked about. You remember all that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You got they throw in, like you said, like enough shit so it makes it seem all fake, even though there's some truth in there. And that's the way disinformation works. They throw in some truth, they throw in some fake, and since you pick out the fake, it's all false.
Well, the Mirage Men was probably one of the best movies for this, because even if the Mirage Men is fake, you can kind of see how, like, oh, God, I don't even know what to believe now.
And I think that's the point of all these conspiracy theories is, like, you don't know what to believe. And I've often said that. I don't know what to believe. They present so much information. You read so many conflicting reports with what I read a couple of episodes ago with the U.S. Secret Space Program, Solar Warden, the Intergalactic Corporation Conglomerate, slaves. How much is that true? How much is fake? Maybe 5% true? 0? Who knows? But I think I would do myself a disservice if I didn't talk about it, and because it's interesting subject matter, and two, I like the topic of aliens. And I think it falls right in line with it. We've all seen. Have you seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
Of course.
Yeah, it was a mainstay in the 90s.
I loved X-Files. I loved XCOM.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Even the new XCOM game. I didn't play the sequel from the last one, which looks good. I mean, but I did play the other XCOM that was new, and I thought it was excellent. I had a great time with it. I love aliens. Love the idea of it.
People constantly indulge in fake shit that turns out to be true. Science fiction works out. Science fiction, when it's originally written, is fake as fuck. But then sometimes it turns out to be true because that's the way it works. When it comes with this UFO stuff, it might work out this way. I don't know. I'd rather be prepared for multiple different scenarios than be blindsided and not consider any. I'd rather consider as many as I can, as many different scenarios as I can, rather than be blindsided. Because we've often talked about Project BlueBeam, and if there is an alien false flag, didn't Oppenheimer's understudy say? Was that Jeff? Can you correct me if I'm wrong? That we'll do a space race, then we'll fight terrorism, and then the last one we will be at war with the aliens.
I thought that was
Asteroids. Then
Von Braun.
Von Braun. That was Von Braun. You're right. Von Braun.
He wasn't Oppenheimer's understudy.
No, Oppenheimer's understudy, underling.
Werner Von Braun, and it was an assistant to him who it says hearsay, but it's still interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I take it with a grain of salt. But
I want it so bad. I want the aliens to just come down and just like save us from these assholes. But I could see the whole Star Trek thing coming in, where it's like, yeah, but you guys you're gonna need to save yourselves from yourselves before we save you from yourselves. Otherwise, we don't know if we can trust you to be with us who have learned to master how to travel from one galaxy to another. I could totally see that rationale. That's like the adult who's, or the teenager who's like, well, if you can't stop crashing the car, or killing your friends on the way to school, we're not going to let you drive around anymore. Like, we have huge problems. We have huge problems. It's disastrous here on Earth.
Let's think about it in this scenario. Let's pretend the aliens are people with really good jobs, and us humans, we're homeless people on the street.
And we're asking them, can we come work in your IT department?
No. We're asking, hey, you got any money? You got any food? You got anything you can give me?
I suck you, alien dick.
Dude, I'll do it. I'll do it.
This rock.
Do you have any space crack?
How often, Joe, when you walk down the street, do you give something to the homeless?
It really depends on the day and how I feel.
Exactly. But
I don't have a hardcore policy, but if you're lying to me, I definitely don't give you money.
Let's say one of these alien businessmen happen to get really drunk and they fall down. Do you think us homeless humans would give back their wallet? Or do you think we'd take it?
That's a good point. We'd probably take it and be like, oh my God, I've got an alien wallet. We're going to give me some money.
Exactly. I think that's what would happen. And I think that's how they view us, as stupid homeless people. And we just can't get our shit together. We're psychic. We're psycho. We have mental diseases.
Immature,
constantly fighting over rot gut and weird, like alcohol and stupid shit all the time.
We poop it behind dumpsters. And show little kids our carrots.
Absolutely. All they have to do is point out the worst aspects of humanity. It's like, look, there's people over here pissing in dumpsters.
These people, this is a trash fire of a planet.
Their stock market is completely crazy. What does this stuff mean?
Yeah. What is all this stuff?
What is all this stuff?
What is all this stuff?
Yeah, they would.
I don't think aliens want to get involved with us at all.
Oh, no, we're too stupid.
I think that they probably originally did. There probably was some secret agreement made back in the 50s, and then they realized, holy shit, we just talked to a bunch of homeless guys.
It's like when you wake up after sleeping with some fuggo drunk or, whatever.
That's what happened. A few years ago,
Not again.
I talked about taking a homeless guy home with me because I felt sorry for him. And then I took home Dwayne, this homeless guy I'm out on the street, and I was like, holy shit! I invited a homeless guy into my house. This has got to end.
You thought you were being nice.
I thought I was being nice. I thought I was entering into a respectful agreement, and it wasn't. With any agreement you think is respectful, I think one party always tries to take advantage of the other because if it's not on equal footing. And certainly agreement between aliens and humans is never going to be on equal footing. And I think the one party is always going to try to take advantage of the other. That's what happens. I don't know what kind of international intergalactic arbitration agreements could we lobby to if the deal's busted. What are you going to do? I don't know. Go to war? Is there a Judge Judy on Mars? I don't know.
I hope so.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Exactly. We're going to go on to some other news. I'm done talking about aliens for a while. How about that?
As long as we could just build a wall and keep them out of our country, I'm fine with this.
Okay.
So we can make Earth great again.
Here we go.
That's right.